Today is March 4th, 2023. The time is 5:05 p.m. I'm confused. I'm really confused. I don't know what I'm witnessing here. And I'm just going to start with this document that's in front of me from CNBC, and it says Health and Science. It's published Friday, October 8th, 2021, 11:22 a.m. And the title says a lot. It says Nordic countries are restricting the use of Moderna's COVID vaccine. Here's why. Key points. The decision to limit the use of the Moderna vaccine centers around concerns it could be linked to cases of myocarditis, a condition where the heart muscle becomes inflamed. Health authorities cited an unpublished Nordic study which had been sent to the European Medicine Agency for assessment, according to Reuters. So the Nordic countries are restricting the use of Moderna's COVID vaccine. And it says Norway drops AstraZeneca's vaccines J&J, and J&J remains on hold. Norway will not resume the use of the COVID-19 vaccine made by AstraZeneca, and the decision on whether to include Johnson & Johnson shots in its mass inoculation scheme remains on hold. A government-appointed commission has recommended that both vaccines be excluded from Norway's program due to the risk of rare but harmful side effects. Authorities on March 11 suspended the AstraZeneca rollout after a small number of inoculated people, some of whom later died, were hospitalized for a combination of blood clots, bleeding, and a low platelet count. A study in Denmark and Norway found slightly increased rates of blood clots among people who have had a first dose of AstraZeneca's vaccine, including the brain, compared with expected rates in the general population. Norway dropped the AstraZeneca vaccine. The Nordic countries are restricting the use of the Moderna COVID vaccines because of heart disease. Do you remember facts about the Nordic countries? The Nordic region consists of Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Iceland, as well as the Faroe Islands, Greenland, and Aland. You can find useful information about the Nordic region in each of its countries here. And the definition of Nordic, of or relating to the Germanic people of Northern Europe, and especially of Scandinavia, of or relating to a group or physical type characterized by tall stature, long head, light skin and hair, and blue eyes. Norway has dropped AstraZeneca vaccine. Nordic countries are dropping Moderna's vaccine. However, on June 17th, 2022, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, amended the emergency use authorization for messenger RNA COVID-19 vaccines to include children ages 6 months through 4 years for receipt of the BNT162b2 Pfizer-BioNTech administered as a 3-dose, and children 6 months to 5 years for receipt of the messenger RNA-1273 for the Moderna vaccine. What's the difference between is this racism? Seriously, I mean, like, Norway dropped AstraZeneca vaccine. J&J remains on hold. Nordic countries are restricting the use of the Moderna COVID vaccine, and the United States is authorizing the Moderna vaccine for children 6 months to 5 years of age. What's going on? Everybody remembers this. Trump wishes we had more immigrants from Norway. Turns out we did. In the Thursday meeting in which President Trump complained about having all these people from shithole countries come here and singled out Haiti, El Salvador, and Africa as examples, he also added that we should have more people from Norway. I mean, really, Norway dropped the AstraZeneca vaccine. The Nordic countries are restricting the use of the Moderna's COVID vaccine. Is this racism? The United States Federal Drug Administration is authorizing the messenger RNA 1273 for children 6 months to 5 years old. What's the difference between the Nordic countries and the United States? And I want you to know something. I'm going to go. Let's see. Okay, so this is information about the Moderna ship's messenger RNA vaccine against novel coronavirus, messenger RNA 1273 for phase 1 study. This is on February 24, 2020. Messenger RNA 1273 is a messenger RNA vaccine against the novel corona, encoding for perfusion stabilized form of the spike protein, which was selected by Moderna in collaboration with investigators at the NIAID Vaccine Research Center. Manufacture of this batch was funded by the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation, CEPI. And I want you to see who CEPI is. CEPI was founded in Davos by the governments of who? Norway and India, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Wellcome, and the World Economic Forum. Norway sponsored this vaccine, messenger RNA 1273. But Norway has restricted the use of this vaccine because of myocarditis. It says Finland and Sweden are limiting the use of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine in young people over concerns around rare cardiovascular side effects. Finland's National Health Authority, THL, announced Thursday that it would pause the use of Moderna's COVID vaccine in young men. All males ages 30 or younger will be offered Pfizer's BioNTech vaccine instead. The decision by THL followed an announcement from its Sweden's counterpart on Wednesday that it would be restricting the use of Moderna vaccine in similar demographics. In Sweden, the use of the vaccine will be stopped in people born in 1991 or later. What's the issue? The decision the two countries have made to limit the use of Moderna vaccine centers around concerns it could be linked to cases of myocarditis, a condition where the heart muscles become inflamed. Both health authorities cited an unpublished Nordic study which had been sent to the European Medicine Agency for assessment, according to Reuters. Why are these Nordic countries sponsoring a vaccine? Why is Norway sponsoring a vaccine that is being prescribed for children in the United States as young as 6 months old, but restricted in people from the Nordic countries? Is this vaccine racism? Shouldn't all the policy be uniform across the board? If the vaccine is too difficult, too harmful for young people in Sweden and Norway and Finland, if it's too harsh on their bodies, why is the CDC authorizing it for children as young as 6 months to 5 years in the United States? Is that racism? Moreover, let's just look at this. It says here Moderna's messenger RNA 1273 is a messenger RNA vaccine against the novel coronavirus encoding for a perfusion stabilized form of the spike protein. Let's click on that. But I want you to look at this right here. Importantly, the new data support NIA's approach to a gene-based vaccine for COVID-19 and will also be used in other vaccine approaches. And I really want to highlight this. Importantly, the new data supports NIAID's approach to a gene-based vaccine for COVID-19 and will also be used in other vaccine approaches, including protein vaccines and other nucleic acid or vector-based delivery approaches. This messenger RNA vaccine is gene-based vaccine. This is a gene therapy. This Importantly, the new data supports NIA's approach to a gene-based vaccine. What are gene-based vaccines? A gene-based vaccine, gene-based, what are examples of gene-based vaccines, also known as nucleic acid vaccines, involved in the delivery of a gene sequence encoding an antigen into the host cell. Was- We were not given informed consent for this gene-based vaccine. The voluntary consent of the human subject is absolutely essential. Nobody was given any informed consent that the new data supports NIA's approach to a gene-based vaccine for COVID-19. This is gene therapy. Nobody gave their permission for our government to alter our genes with a gene-based vaccine. This is a violation of the Nuremberg Code. Nobody was given an informed consent that the messenger RNA 1273 vaccine was a gene-based vaccine. This is this is this is not right. I'll leave it